We've got reviews on Dahmer, The Sherri Shepherd Show, J HUD, and new reality show X-Rated NYC.
I don't fucking care, Boomer. I don't fucking care.
Okay.
You should just leave it in the fucking past like you did your career.
Plus, Charlamagne is claiming that Viacom is afraid of the Kardashians.
Put it like this. If what they saying I did is true,
Yes.
then why didn't you never sue me?
And top of his recent interview with Ray J. I told you them toxic tricks run the mainstream corporations. Apparently, reading isn't fundamental for college dropout Kanye, who claims he's never read a book in his entire life. And y'all still sending y'all kids to Donda Academy? In Bitch Better Have My Money news, Cardi B has started the process of garnishing Tasha K's wages, since the messy media personality wants to keep playing on her face and not run on her coins. And last but certainly not least,
Should I turn the news on, bad boy? What would I see? Call me by my name.
I give my thoughts on gay New York City weatherman who was fired by performing sex acts on the internet. All that and more on The Rundown with your host, Kris Avalon.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to my brand new show called The Rundown. Ew. Basically, for those of you who are new to this situation, it's your boy Kris Avalon. And for those of you who've been following me all this time, you know who I am, child. But this episode, or this show, basically, it's a shorter version of Unfiltered. So basically what we do is on here is we just talk about, give a quick recap of all the hot topics of the week. I got 10 topics for y'all today. Some that we're gonna have to go through at length, some we could just breeze through, it depends on the mood and depends on the topic. I'm not gonna just drag it out like I used to, so it's like an edited down version of the other show. Now, Unfiltered will be back in January, in case y'all been wondering. And this is cute. Look at this little background, all colorful and shit. I want to give a shout out to Mr. EJ Parker for all the hard work he puts into a lot of the productions. Because, bitch, I gagged. I did not see that intro. I did not know how it was going to go down. All I know was, let me just record my little opening, my little intro, the little voiceover. Because, bitch, we up in here trying to do we doing a real show. So, yes, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to recap some TV shows. Like, basically, oh, hey, Sailor Mermaid, how you doing? I don't know if you saw the opening, but let me know what you thought. It was cute. I like it. My thing is, while you see a lot of other shows on the social medias that just want to just jump on and run their mouth and do, whatever, and get their little Patreon coins and their super chats, I actually have an actual job outside of this, so I don't have the wherewithal to just sit around and just go live all the time. So when I do, it's like we definitely put a lot of work, and I want to give y'all a real legitimate show. No shade to anybody else on what they do, but I'm just saying, all the production, all the bells and whistles, all the things we put in here, I just want to give y'all a good damn show. So the intro was cute, the music was popping. And yes, we have a lot of tea to get to. We're going to talk about X-Rated NYC because I watched it twice. I had to watch it earlier just to refresh my memory so I have all my stuff. We're going to talk about... What else are we going to talk about up on here? And I have my list. I just, I need my notes. So basically we got, we're going to talk about Dance with the Stars. We're going to talk about the Dahmer series that's over on Netflix. I'm gonna give my thoughts on Sherri Shepherd in this current crop of daytime TV shows, and what do I think? We're gonna talk about the New York City weatherman who was caught on, who was fired over a video that he did over on Chatterbait. We're gonna talk about Tiffany Haddish. We're gonna talk about Charlamagne. There's some in his recent interview with Ray J. Child. Now he and Ray J is fighting. That tea came out earlier, so we definitely got to bring that up because I'm glad we kind of went on. I was a little irritated because we went on a little late. I'm gonna be honest, but I noticed things tend to work out for a reason, and that's sometimes I got to learn that. But with my little Virgo situation. Ooh, excuse me. You know, I be having my little moods and my attitudes, but like, bitch, because you know, us Virgos, we do not, we are all about, wait, hold on. I'm trying to see how, sometimes I gotta move in. You know, sometimes we be in our moods was like, okay, girl, like we got things to do, we got things that we're all about promptness and timing and things of that nature. And sometimes we get a little irritated. It's like, okay, girl, like I'm on the schedule. What's going on? What's giving? But you know, sometimes I gotta learn to just relax, take it all in, and just stop stressing out. But that's me all the time. I'm a damn worrywart. I can't help it, child. I tell you, it's the Virgo things, but you know, now we in Libra season. We don't care about the bitches. Oh, I'm playing. You know, I got some Libra friends. Shout out to y'all. But you know, just jokes. So hope you all had a good weekend. I haven't really been doing nothing. I've just been working. I have not been motivated to hit the gym like I used to, and I need to because, girl, I've noticed I gained a little weight, and it wasn't cute until. And I thought, you know, I was like, oh, I'm just living my life and stuff until I visited my mama. And the first thing about, ew, you put on weight. I'm like, oh, excuse me. You know, sometimes your mother be a little shady and don't want to, you know, and they'll be so quick to just throw the shade and get her. I was like, oh, God, can you just like ease it in with a little lubrication? You just shoved it up in me all dry and shit. And you just came for me. But you know, you can't read your mama, especially if you love her. Then my sister had a cold, so I'm like, y'all not gonna play in my face. And this good God evening. And this is back in August. So I'm getting back into the graces of my whole gym regimen. Because before I used to be crazy. I used to be in there 4 times a week. But life happens. And I've just been slacking. But now, and plus the hours of my job, like I'm not as free as I used to be with my other job. The schedule is more flexible. This was like, it's like 9 to 5, 8:30 to 4, you know, 8:30 to 4, something like that. So when you get out of work and you just be tired, especially when you work in the medical industry, sometimes you just be like, bitch, I don't have the energy. And then you go to the gym and there's all these people in there and they using the machines you want to use. And it's like, okay, I can't even do what the fuck I want because you in my damn way. But anyway, so enough about me. Let's get to these topics. So the first topic that I have, what we gonna talk about? Let's talk about Dancing with the Stars. So Dancing with the Stars aired this past Monday, right? Over on Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus now. And I actually don't mind the fact that it's over on Disney Plus. Apparently people have a problem with it being on Disney Plus. I guess the old heads are upset about it because it's now no longer network television. They got to download a streaming app and they have to subscribe, you know, a certain amount of money a month. But look, quiet as it's kept, if you know some people, they can add you to their streaming service. They can add you to the situation and you just don't pay nothing. That's what I do. I mean, I pay for a lot of streaming services, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people that I know, we all share shit. Like, come on, let's be real. We all do it. I got my mother on my Netflix. I got my best friend on my Netflix also. And then in trade, he got me on his Wild Presents Plus. So I watch all the drag races for free. Like he watches Netflix for free. Same thing with my Paramount Plus, my Hulu, HBO Max, Shudder, Out TV, because I had to get Out TV to watch X-Rated NYC, which we're going to get to in a minute. But anyway, so Dance with the Stars premiered last week. It was cute. I like it. I mean, you know, I actually like it was better. And you know, I was always curious because I was just like, okay, so how are they gonna make this whole thing work in regards of a live show streaming on the internet, like on a streaming service like a Disney Plus. That's what I was curious about. Cause I always had that in the back of my mind. I was like, there was always something that I've always wanted to do was when the time comes that I have ideas for reality competition shows, producing it and that sort of thing. And when it comes down to it, I was going to be like, how do we get this to work on or during a live stream on a streaming service, like whatever streaming service was able to do it. Disney Plus figured it out. I think they also live stream things on Paramount Plus. Big Brother and things of that nature. So Disney Plus did it. It was cute. I like it. No commercials. That's another great thing, because I was always wondering how they were going to do that too. How are you going to do it with no commercials? So they figured that out. I like the show. So far, I want to say the people that I thought did an amazing job. I like Selma Blair. You know, even with her MS, it's like she's definitely doing the damn thing with the choreography and stuff. And I'm looking for her. Wayne Brady, we all knew was gonna do it well with the choreography. He was gonna pick it up. He was gonna show out. But you know, they were a bit critical of the way he points his feet and stuff, but I get it. Ballroom is very technical. It's not like, you know, Broadway and street dancing where everything is all about the movements, preciseness and stuff. They're all about like, well, you have to point your toe this way. It's like all that corny shit. But whatever. I watch it sometime for the celebrities. Shangela definitely has my heart because I was living for her. And, you know, the fact that we have the very first drag queen on Dancing with the Stars, first of all, y'all mad late with that. And then number two, it's cute or whatever that we finally got a drag queen on the show. So I got an idea for something, but I'm not going to say it on here because I don't want anybody to steal it. So I'm going to keep it to myself until it manifests. So shout out to Shangela, and she's definitely doing what needs to be done. I did not feel that she deserved to be, I think she placed third or fourth. The number one person was Charli D'Amelio, which in a million years, I'd never expected some TikToker to be like the top dancer of the episode. Vinny, as I suspected, you know, he's so cute, but boy got two left feet. Joseph Baina did better than him. And for those of you who don't know who Joseph Baina is, and y'all said stars, but I guess we're going to have to use that word loosely because I ain't know nothing about Joseph Baina. The only thing I know about him is that he is the illegitimate love child of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Mildred the Maid. Like, that's basically his claim to fame, that his father hunched Mildred the Maid while he was married to the Kennedy chick, Maria Shriver. So that's your claim to fame, that you're an illegitimate love child, that your daddy accepts and pays your bills. But it's cute or whatever that he's doing like the what do you call it? He's doing the bodybuilding, and they say he's an actor. I couldn't name one movie he's in. Like Patrick Schwarzenegger, I've seen in some shit, but I ain't never seen Joseph in anything. He looked just like his daddy too. That's one thing you cannot deny that boy. Sailor Mermaid says they do realize that Disney is the parent company of ABC, right? So it would make sense if they added it to their streaming. Well, yeah, but the fact of the matter is, I truly believe the reason why it's on Disney Plus is because the numbers are not, the math isn't mathing over at ABC. The ratings aren't what it used to be. People are not really watching television, and what Disney Plus is trying to do is bring people over to their streaming service and trying to provide more content. Because the truth be told, I know a lot of these old heads don't want to accept it, but people have moved on from network television and have basically transitioned into streaming. I don't watch regular TV. There are times when, yes, I have cable in this house, in my apartment. And there'll be things when I'll pop on the TV now, but I'm a streaming person. All I do is stream. It's easier, it's more convenient. I can grab stuff. Whenever I'm ready to watch something, I can watch it. Like Abbott Elementary, I don't watch ABC 7. It's on Hulu. So I watch it the next day when it airs. Law and Order, all the Law and Orders, like the new episode, everything has moved over to Peacock. Speaking of which, Peacock, and I was going to bring this up later, but now it's on my mind, I'm going to bring it up. Can y'all put the Jennifer Hudson show over on Peacock? Because I don't have, I don't know if it's on demand, and I don't have a DVR to record shows and watch later. So I would like to watch that show. Y'all Fox ain't wasting no time putting Sherri all over YouTube. Why can't we get full episodes of a lot of Tamron Hall is the same thing. Y'all put clips of her segments on YouTube, but y'all don't air full episodes. But I could go to Hulu and watch The View, or I can watch Sherri Shepherd's show, which I'm going to get into my review of that on the other channel. On YouTube. So it doesn't make sense how y'all kind of do that. But y'all got Kelly Clarkson's show on Peacock. So make that make sense for me. Okay, so to wrap this whole thing up, not surprising, the bottom two, everybody else I don't really care for. Sam Champion, he was cute or whatever. Yes, not all gay men can dance, child. I don't know what a Jesse James Decker is. I could care less about a Heidi and a Charlie D'Amelio. That is not my demographic. I don't care about these damn TikToks. The only reason why I created a TikTok is for, you know, when I want to share certain things and when I want to post clips of my own damn show on TikTok for the views and the likes. Cheryl Lash, she's an icon. She was from Dynasty. I mean, not Dynasty. She was from Charlie's Angels. So she's cute or whatever, but the bottom two, y'all should not have been surprised by this, was Teresa Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey and Jason Lewis, aka Smith Jared from Sex and the City. And so out of the two, they saved Teresa, which I kind of knew was going to happen. And this also goes to show that Teresa isn't as big as she thinks she is. Like, she talks all this game on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, like she's this big star, and instead of, it's all talk. It's all a bunch of bullshit. So I'm not buying it, because if she had the numbers, they would have rooted for her. But look, quiet as it's kept, a lot of people don't really like Teresa. Like, she showed, like, especially how in her behavior in the last season with, you know, blindly supporting that new husband that her and her daughters with the audience. Her family don't support her. Like, her brother and Melissa, I'm sure they're not even supporting or watching, even gonna fly out to LA to sit in the audience. It's just gonna be her, Louis, and it's gonna be Louis and them kids. Or whenever Gia can get a moment, because I think she's back in college. So yeah, I'll be watching Dance with the Stars only because, you know, my girl Shangela's on there, and plus I like putting it on because I could easily fast forward through the stuff. Like, I don't have to literally sit through the live. I could let it at least run a good hour, 90 minutes before I could just run it back and then speed through all the people I don't care for. And I know next on Monday they're supposed to do Elvis. And child, y'all already know how I feel about Elvis, that colonizer of rock and roll. I could care less about him, but I watch it because I want to see how the performances are. But for the most part, I'll probably be fast forwarding through it, because for y'all to just continue to spew this narrative that Elvis is like this big end all be all of rock and roll, child, I can't wait till Beyonce come out with Renaissance Act 2 when she tries to remind you bitches, allegedly, if that's the sound that, you know, the rumors proved to be true, that rock and roll was taken from black people. Why is Alexa talking? This bitch decided to just talk while I'm in the middle of my show. Anyway, so let's move on. So yeah, if y'all want to definitely check it out, just go over to Disney Plus. So now from that show, we're going to talk about X-Rated NYC. So X-Rated NYC also premiered on Monday. And can I tell you that that show is messy as all get out, and I'm here for it. So for those of you who are not familiar, the 6-episode series on Our TV, it basically follows 4 male porn performers, Boomer Banks, Dante Cole, Joey Mills, and Max Connor, as they live their lives in New York City. They discuss everything from safe spaces to gay for pay and sniffies. Sure, don't ask me what sniffies is, but you can read between the lines. Yeah, they basically break down a whole thing about sniffies on the show, and I'm here for it because, you know, Boomer Banks is notorious for using sniffies. I know, I follow her. She follows me too. Hey, girl. Anyway, so basically, before we get to talking about X-Rated NYC, let me run y'all a clip so y'all can get familiarized with what this show is about. Yes, honey, sniffies.
Do I top? Yes. Do I bottom? Hell yes. Do I suck? Of course. I love eating ass.
I don't fucking care, Boomer! I don't fucking care.
Okay, girl.
You should just leave it in the fucking past like you did your career.
Yeah, and that clip, the last clip you saw where Joey basically just threw the ultimate Venetian blind shade at Boomer, that was basically the cliffhanger that they leave us on until the next episode. So I'll get to that part where that scenario took place. That took place at the Eagle, but we got to get to the breakdown of the beginning of it. So basically, all four of them, the reason what brings them together, the whole connection with the show is that they're all ambassadors of Flesh Jack, and they all supposed to meet up for a photo shoot. So Boomer and Max are already there. Max applying, foundation to his skin because the girls do whip makeup to look flawless on camera. Like a lot of them don't just go full bare. Like they actually beat their faces and stuff, so that way you get, you don't get blemishes or any other stuff. But anyway, so they're all there for a photo shoot. Dante Cole shows up, who is pansexual porn star. So he has sex with basically all genders. So it could be male, female, trans, you name it. He's open and he's willing to hunt you. And there's nothing wrong with that. We live for a good universal hunch, honey. So anyway, they're all there and they're waiting for Joey Mills, who prides himself on being a twink porn star, to show up. And then he's late, which rubs Boomer the wrong way. And so then when Joey finally shows up, he's like, the reason why he's like, and Boomer basically was just kind of giving him that shade, when you're annoyed when somebody actually is to be on time, but you showing up on your time. And so he kind of just let Joey in subtle ways. There was a little subtle shade. Just knowing like, girl, you need to kind of like, we're all here waiting. We have a photo shoot. You need to be a little more professional. You need to be on time. And Joey, of course, being, using youth and his twinkness as an excuse, thought that, according to what we saw, okay, well, it's not a big deal. I'm here. Let's get the shoot going, which in my opinion is kind of rude and unprofessional. Like, to me, if you're going to come to a shoot, you need to be on time and you need to actually be professional. You don't just show up on your time. And only because the reason why he said he was late was because it was snowing. And he wanted to get some photos of snow. I guess they don't have snow where he comes from. But honey, going to Rockefeller Center and doing the snow shoot, the snow would have been there after the shoot was over. Like, it's not a big deal. Although sometimes, the way it's been snowing in New York for the past couple of years, it snows in a day and it's gone in a day. So, you know what? Maybe there was a valid point you trying to get them snow shots while you could, because snow don't usually stick like it used to in New York City, with climate change and all that foolishness. So, so then Boomer and Max go to an acupuncture thing. But before they go to their little acupuncture session, after the shoot, because basically what the Flesh Jack shoot is, it's for those who aren't familiar, they basically just take a photo shoot with replicas of their penises. So they have like their own dildo lines and their lines about their some of them do the dildos, some of them do the booties, some of them do both. Where they do a basic mold of it, and you could buy it and do whatever you want with it. So you see them all taking a photo shoot with their PPs, their pingas, LSL gringa. I don't know why I went there with that. I forgot where I heard that from. But anyway, so they're taking photos and stuff with their genital, with the replicas of their penises or whatever. And so that they go, and before they go to the acupuncture session, Boomer decides to take Joey to the side. He takes him outside and they have a conversation. But of course it turns, into a back and forth shade fest where he's getting upset because he doesn't feel that he needs Boomer to calm down and take a breath and stop trying to be so in his face about him being late. But then also you should have just been apologetic and be like, you know what, my bad. I'll next time I'll know. You don't just come in with this whole, because I'm cute and I'm young and I'm a twink and I'm white and this, that, and the third. This is why I can just pretty much do whatever I want, which is kind of like that young person. There's a line that they always say, youth is wasted on the young. I've heard it when I was that age, and I'm sure his generation and his age will hear the same shit. So, after that, Max comes out and pulls him away, and then they go to their little acupuncture session. Boomer tells me he had a bad experience before with acupuncture, so he gets scared and doesn't want to do it again. So he decides to take on. So while Max is getting acupunctured, he does the cupping, which is basically like they stick these cups on your back, and it basically just, I guess, removes all the toxins and stuff. But I'm like, Boomer, girl, you scared of acupuncture needles? I've seen you take bigger things up in you. So, but nevertheless, just jokes. But look, some people can take a dick but can't take a needle. It happens. What the fuck? So now I'm being spammed in the little comments section, whatever. That'll get removed. Okay, so focus. So basically, you know, he starts going back and talking about the whole thing with him and Joey. So, yeah, that always happens. Russia always trying to invade this damn show, the bots. Diana Jenkins, is that you with the bots? Or Lisa Rinna? Because they must know we talking about Lisa Rinna later. That's why they sent in the troll farming the bots over here. But anyway, so what else did I write in my notes? So they have the acupuncture meeting before they leave. Oh, I already said that about the Joey and his lateness. So then after the whole acupuncture session, Dante and Joey head out to Hush. And then they go and they have a little conversation about what had transpired earlier. And he's saying like Boomer needs to relax, so on and so forth. Then he runs into a bunch of twinks that look like they were out of place at, well, they probably, I guess Hush does kind of like that clientele, but they were out of place at the Eagle because he went and invited them heifers to come to Max's little thing. So Max has this thing where he got invited to speak and do a speech at the Eagle. What was the exact speech about again? Because I don't think they really elaborated on what that was at what the speech really was all about at the Eagle, because we never really heard it. And I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. So I was kind of confused because I watched the show and I'm like, okay, did they establish what the speech was about or why they were letting Max give a speech? Because I know there was a point in the show where he and Boomer had a conversation about the real reason why he went so hard on Joey is because many a times when you're young, white, and a twink, you can walk into spaces and just kind of do whatever you want and act the way you want to act and behave how you want, and it's celebrated by and it's excused by the other, you know, people within the gay community, the white gays. Like, y'all can walk into spaces and just do whatever y'all want and bum rush people's spaces, and it's perfectly fine. We're the ones, people of color, queer people of color especially, who have to always push our way to be seen. We have to always fight for a space. We always have to fight to be seen at certain establishments or to have a certain kind of night at a certain type of establishment, so that way we can have that inclusion, because a lot of times the white spaces won't include people of color to have certain nights, like a bear night or a leather night or things that need that and the third. So maybe that's what the whole situation was about, or that was just some shit that was conjured up, you know, for the sake of filming a reality show. I don't know. But overall, I just want to say I was entertained by it all. So Dante and Joey are at Hush, and they're talking about the whole situation, and then they invite some skinny twinks over where they look like they should have been more or less at a club in West Hollywood than in Hell's Kitchen. But nevertheless, that's where they was. And so they all kind of hung out. They were doing shots. Joey was drunk. Dante was somebody he had to leave and go meet up with Boomer and Max at oh my God, now I'm forgetting. Where'd they go? Okay, so the Eagle for the little shindig, but then Joey asserted himself and brought these other people along and was like, okay, now yeah, come along. And it was like, what did I just get myself into? But of course, for the sake of reality TV, they had to come for the drama. And so then while Max is in the middle of giving his speech, because Pup Kenzo, who was Mr. Eagle 2022, went in introduced him, and Max is up there about to give his speech. Then Joey comes in and just basically bum rushes over to Boomer and wants to have this full-fledged conversation about their little situation earlier, which in my opinion is not the time and the place to do such a thing when you're in someone's event. But I guess, you know, when you do a reality show, that shit is warranted, where there's an event happening and somebody has to come and be the messy one of the season. And clearly, Joey has become that person who is the messy queen of the show. And he and Boomer going back and forth, and hence why you saw the whole fight about him going to about put it in the past like your career. And then that queen, what do you say, Patrick motherfucking Rosa, or I think was his name, and then he got carried out, and the other queen that was with them got carried out. It was a whole mess. But I have to say this. I know a lot of people were sitting there bitching and moaning, because I saw some of the comments online, and then friends of mine were sending me messages and stuff talking about the show, being like, what is this, and this, that, and the third. And I want to say this. A lot of times people want to be critical of whenever we get a gay show, a show that's created by queer people. Shout out to Daddy TV for putting this together. You know, they created Hot House. They created Slag Wars, which is currently in its second season over on Out TV as well. Both shows are actually on Out TV. And Hot House is hosted by Tiffany Pollard. And 7 Deep was on the first season. Okay, what is this Omega 69 mega crap that keeps popping up in my comments? Anyway, so what I particularly love about it is that it's allowing a space queer people to express themselves, because we don't have that. I've always been saying, why don't we have a queer-based reality show that we could do where people could be, you know, we could express ourselves and have our voice and be seen and be heard and that sort of thing. And I love the fact that Out TV is providing a space for queer people to create content. Y'all are so quick to run out here and support these damn housewives. Oh, what happened? Oh, I don't know. Something happened with my comments. Anyway, let me focus. So one of the things I will have to say about the show is that we are always so quick to support shows that have gay leanings, because and I guess maybe gay leanings would be where we're considered the accessory, or it's about a bunch of bitchy older women fighting amongst each other. We're so quick to support the Basketball Wives and the Housewives and all these other shows, but we as a community will not support one of our own. Whenever we come out with something for us, we don't want to support it. What I usually do is, when, you know, if a show is geared towards the LGBTQ community, I'll watch it. I'll support it. I want to see how it is. Whenever there's something that represents me within, you know, as a person of color or as a queer person of color, I always give it a shot just to show my support and representation and see if the show is actually good. You got 1, maybe 2 episodes to grab me immediately, and then I'm out. This show, I Live for the Drama, is 6 episodes. The episodes aren't really that long. They're like, what? Less than 30 minutes. So it's like 22 to 25 minutes long. I guess with commercials it'd be 30 minutes, but it's like the typical length of a half-hour show. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when the new episode airs on Monday. What I'm actually hoping with this show is that, you know, when they get a season 2, that they can incorporate more people from the New York City scene, be it some nightlife girls. Oh wait, it's called X-rated NYC, so we need to keep it X-rated. So I'm sure there are plenty of people I know in New York that are doing adult films that have OnlyFans pages and that sort of thing. So we can probably start interacting with some of them. And maybe you can get like a scene where you get some of y'all, I know some of y'all know some damn drag queens. Y'all can get some of them. Look, Boomer lives for the drag girls, especially from Drag Race. So I'm sure maybe he could ask a couple of his drag race friends to appear in some scenes, unless they're beholden by World of Wonder and they can't cross-pollinate in other shows. But for the most part, I want to see more representation. I feel like we need to be out here and be quick to support and stop making excuses and stop being so quick to support housewives or shows created by gay men, but they won't take the time or the place to create shows for us. So I applaud Daddy TV, whereas you got these self-hating homosexuals like Carlos King and Andy Cohen, who are so quick to create shows about women and have said themselves that they don't think that a gay show would sell, or they can create gay content. Specifically, I believe Carlos King said that men aren't entertaining. No, straight men aren't entertaining. There's a difference. Gay men can be messy. I want more positive and corrective promotion while making it entertaining. Well, the thing is, I can't refresh, so I'm not going to be able to see if there's any comments coming in. So yeah, I'll just have to read it on the bottom, because it's basically my embedded link is invalid. So, but then I would refresh it, I'd be pulled out of the live. So I'm gonna just read when they come in or when production puts it in. But anyway, let me focus, because now I feel like I'm just doing so many detours and I'm not focusing on doing the show. So with that being said, I do want more. I think we can get a balance, but we shouldn't be so quick to turn our nose up at the ratchetness. Look, I'll even admit I have not seen an episode of Bobby, I Love You, but I have watch some clips. You know, the ones that Zeus pay, you know, the Jasmine brand and the Neighborhood Talk and all these other black bloggers on Instagram to play. Because they don't have legitimate blogs. They have to get they're getting verified with little clips over on Instagram. No shade to them, but I got a full website that I'm paying for out of my own pocket, but that's the way this game works. Anyway, so yeah, I like the show. I like messing. I have seen some clips of Bobby, I Love You, but like the Milan Network, I'm not paying a streaming price for one show that I want to see because I don't care about Jocelyn and fake ass Cabaret. I gave a chance to that other show that they were doing, the LA, what was it? Bad Boys, whatever. Child, that shit was bullshit. They didn't even film a reunion. That was a waste of my time. So I'm not fully supporting something out of just one show. I'm not doing that. So shout out to Boomer and Max and Dante and Joey, and I'll definitely be tuning into the show next week because it was definitely it was very messy. And it's giving me, but you know, it's giving me my life. Did I say that? No shade but shade. Because you know that is my line. I need to get that on a t-shirt. No shade but shade, honey. Because I do mean for it to be shady. Now, let me see. So what's the next topic? Oh, Dahmer, ciao. Okay, so before we get into some things, I just want to say this. I've only watched the first 7 episodes of Dahmer. I literally binge watched a third, I guess we can call it a third of the season, because there's 8, 9, and 10. I didn't realize that I fell asleep and then woke up and episode 8 was playing. So I think I played episode 8, but then I fell asleep on it because it was literally like 2 in the morning. So I was watching it since I think like 7:30, around 7:30, 8 o'clock. I actually popped it on. I was doing that and then I was working on some stuff for today. So I had it on in the background, but then of course I was like, bitch, this shit needs my undivided attention. So I had to put the laptop down and I had to watch the show. So I watched Dahmer, and I have to say I was left uncomfortable watching it. And you know, here's the thing. I know, and maybe some of you don't know this about me, but I am a horror connoisseur. I love horror movies. I'm a horror girl, I'll say. But this type of horror, based in real life situations or something that happened, that makes me feel absolutely uncomfortable. I know John Wayne Gacy was based off of, well, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on John Wayne Gacy. Or was it Ed Gein? It was one of them. I know there a lot of serial killers were based on a lot of horror movie icons back in those days because it was the 70s and shit. But with Jeffrey Dahmer, I had no idea the years that he was doing this. Like, he was killing people from 1978 to 1991. And I believe I was, when he was caught, I believe I was in middle school or elementary school or some shit. Because I'm a child of the 80s. But yeah, when he finally got caught, and we used to make little jokes about, oh, we gonna eat you and this, that, and the third. Like, we used to make jokes about Jeffrey Dahmer back in the day when we were kids. But then when you hear about this shit now, it's like, oh my God, like when you grow up and you know better, then you understand. But it's just like, don't play with me with him. And I feel like this is a question that, and I was reading some stuff too, and it gagged me that a lot of people were not familiar with Jeffrey Dahmer until this Netflix movie. That's the shocking part. There are a lot of people who are not familiar with Jeffrey Dahmer, that was not familiar with what he had did. Because it's like people don't pay attention or understand history. And it's kind of messed up that they don't really understand history and all these different things. So anyway, what I particularly loved about it is because there, this whole gore versus horror situation. So I like the approach that they took with this film in this series in regards of not showing the murders, because I think that would be re-traumatizing those whose child that was, or the siblings who are still alive that their sibling was killed. And there were certain characters that they focused on particularly in the series. So re-traumatizing people was something that was embedded in the back of my mind as I was watching this. And when there were scenes of him killing people, like particularly the first guy that he picked up that was the hitchhiker, and the guy called him, I guess, I don't know if this actually happened. This is a lot of things where, when they make these things, they interject dialogue and stuff in to kind of set up the situation. When he kisses the guy because he was supposed to go to a Fish concert and he calls him the F word and weird and all these different things, it kind of put him over the edge. And I believe that was his first kill. He was killing people since he was living in his grandmother's house, crushing up taking their heads and sleeping with a head in a jar that he kept in the box that his father had kept all his stuff in. So I think there was like this weird connection to his father. So I don't want to get too deep into the other stuff, but I just want to say, like, the things that I loved about it was the fact that they didn't focus so much on, like, let's show you these people dying. To me, that's a little exploitative. My thing would have been, I like the ideas of, let's focus on those people who heard things, witnessed things. Like, particularly Niecy Nash as Glenda Cleveland. If she don't get nominated for an Emmy, ain't no justice in the world. So I like the idea of her being the neighbor, and she would, through the vent, would hear the screams, be woken up in the middle of the night, hearing the screams from the victims, and then the drill going off all throughout the night, or the saw and him cutting up the bodies and basically, beheading them and taking the photos and having sex with them. Like, it was just some weird, real psychotic shit. And I didn't like the idea of them showing this fetish. I forget the name of it that it's called, that they said that the men have, like, their organs are a lot shinier. So that kind of what turned them on to being attracted to men, is because he wanted to just, like, fondle and be inside their flesh and all this other shit. So I don't know if he was necessarily gay. And I don't like that narrative, because y'all out here trying to make it seem like gays are pedophiles, gays are murderers, gays are, like, it's that old trope that irks me. And we should be moving beyond that self-loathing gay narrative. So that bothered me with that. And the fact that I did like the fact that they pointed out, how the failure of the government, meaning the police force and the judicial system, the incompetence of the police, I should say, and how the system failed the victims. People like Glenda Cleveland and so many other people in that building called the police so many times when they would hear noises coming from the apartment. The rotting meat smell, which he always had a different excuse for, but it was bodies he had in this giant container that he was keeping them in with acid, keeping a torso and shit up in there, and it was rotting, and the smell was coming through the thing into other people's houses, and it was hard for them to breathe. So I didn't like the idea of them just basically, like, they would send the cops and it would be nothing. But the shit that pissed me off was the Laotian 14-year-old boy, Conorak. That scene pissed me all the way the fuck off. And I hated, and I think I did retweet it. It's on my Twitter, KrisAvalon.com, DKrisAvalon. I said KrisAvalon.com. DKrisAvalon, where basically, because DJ sent me in our group chat, sent me the scene, which I screen recorded and I posted on Facebook, just to see, like, what people thought, because that's usually what I use my social media for anyway, to provoke thought. So basically what he did was he showed, this clip of, he went to the store to go get some more alcohol, whatever the case was, but he drilled a hole in this boy's head, and I think it was because he knew where the nerve ending was, that he could prevent him from speaking. So he actually came to, he escaped the apartment, he made it downstairs. Glenda and her daughter, her niece, were in front of the building with the cops trying to get this little boy help. But he goes and tells the cops he's 19 years old, he's my lover, and he's drunk, and he does this all the time. And because the police have an issue with people of color and gay folks, he takes the white man's name over this boy who clearly looks like he's underage. That shit blew my mind. And this makes you wonder why people of color do not trust the police. So that blew my mind. I thought Evan Peters did a phenomenal job with the role that he played, but can we just do this? I personally feel, because I do like Evan Peters, I think he's a phenomenal actor. I've liked him in a lot of projects he's done. I love him in Kick-Ass. I loved him as, damn, what's the character he played? When he was an X-Men, there was two of them. Wanda's brother. I like the character, when he played, in the X-Men films, even though those X-Men movies were either hit or miss. Pietro Maximoff, she played his brother. He also played the other version of the brother in WandaVision, because they never brought back Aaron Taylor Johnson, fine ass. But anyway, I honestly feel like, please do not give him an Emmy nomination for playing this role. I do not feel like we need to be rewarding people for playing serial killers. Now, if you want to reward people like Niecy Nash or other people in the film who were the neighbors, who we should be rewarding those who saw it through the eyes, like seeing it through the eyes of the people who witnessed it and the victims and this, that, and the third. If we want to nominate them, that's great. But I'm tired of us rewarding serial killers or people playing serial killers. I know Charlize Theron won an award for playing Eileen Wuornos. This was back in the day, but right now we got to stop exploiting serial killers like they're these gods. And there was an issue that I had with the show. I'll say this: the glamorizing of serial killers, not necessarily in the writing and the scenarios, but I feel like the way you would shoot him, the way they lit him in certain scenarios, whenever he would look over the people he was going to kill, or the way he would, when you would see him out in the nightclub where he was deliberately targeting Black gay men. And this is a cautionary tale. So with us getting this show, what do you think the lesson is? The lesson, in my opinion, should be that we need to stop glamorizing. Well, we need to be more, because in my opinion, I don't feel like much has changed. Yeah, we don't have somebody going around killing and eating Black people still that we know of. However, there's still assaults and violence happening towards gay men in our community from people they get in relationships with. We need to be a little more open about that whole abuse thing, the self-loathing, the fact that we look at somebody who's highly attractive and I just want to be around that person, but then they turn out to be a fucking sociopath or abusive. So we need to be a little more aware of who we hook up with before we take that leap. Because one of the things I loved about Dylan Burnside's character, he was I don't know, spoiler alert, if y'all go watch it, don't listen, but his character actually gets away because the grandmother decided to stay down in the living room with him until he woke up. They got him on the bus, and then it took off. So he got saved by the grandmother, played by Michael Learned, by the way. I was like, why did I look familiar? Then a friend of mine told me what she was. I was like, oh, yes. I think she was on the Waltons. I used to watch reruns of that show when I was a kid. So she saved him. And then there was another scenario with Conorak's brother, the one who Dahmer molested and was convicted of molestation. And was on, what was it? He was on parole or something or another. I forgot. He would have been killed too if the grandmother wasn't looking out the window and told, Jeff to get his ass back in the house. So there were a lot of people who got away and were saved from that crazy man. And the fact of the matter was, over the years, people told him. And the fact of the matter was, look, Jeffrey Dahmer was not like this brilliant serial killer. He wasn't like Kaiser Soze or some shit. Or the killer from John Doe from Seven, where he literally committed all these crimes. The cops could not get him. He literally turned himself in. That's how they got him. And the only reason why that happened because he already killed Gwyneth Paltrow. He had a head in the box because he wanted that last Seven Deadly Sin for Brad Pitt to kind of give that rage and kill him. So he already completed his shit. Jeffrey Dahmer only got caught because the last guy who got away, because I was like, I know y'all not about to go in this room to look and y'all see blood on mattresses and shit, and y'all just not gonna notice, like, okay, so what's going on? It took the cop to go in the drawer and see a bunch of pictures of Jeff kept of dead bodies. Yeah, what's in the box? That's what I was thinking when they're actually the what's in the box line was actually what I thought of when he put an actual head in the box from his father when he was a kid. So it's like, so to me, it was just a crazy show. It's definitely something that people need to check out. And you know what? The exploitation continues because Netflix, from what I saw yesterday, and I posted this on my social media too, they're coming out with another Jeffrey Dahmer docuseries. It's a documentary. It's coming out next month. I don't know how many episodes, but I saw the trailer where they have the woman who interviewed him behind bars. So I don't think we'll never really get to know who the real Jeffrey Dahmer is because people said he was pretty much vague in a lot of the interviews that they got. So I don't know. It's going to take a lot for me to really get in and want to watch this, continue watching the series. I got 3 more episodes to watch. So pray for me. Who knows? Maybe on next week's episode, I'll come to y'all with the tea and let you guys know. Okay, so shout out to Ryan Murphy, because usually you can be hit or miss with your stuff. Like you'll come out with good ideas, it'll start off great and go off the rails by the end. So, you know. Okay, so let's move on. Oh yeah, we got to talk about Sherri Shepherd. I can go through this real quick. So Sherri Shepherd's show, you know, everybody was quick to talk about, you know, a lot of people had her set up to fail ever since the whole Wendy Williams debacle. Oh my God, I totally forgot to pull that story up. The one about Sherri Shepherd. It is not going to take me long to find that because I am literally on my website as we speak. And I found her. So Sherri Shepherd, basically, you know, there's been a lot of stuff going on with the show. A lot of people like, oh, they would, you know, I feel like a lot of people would hate watching. First, let's get the good stuff out the way. I like the theme song. I think the theme song is cute. It's happy-go-lucky. It's very Sherri. I meant to say Sherri Shepherd. It's very Sherri. And she's very like, let me dance with my supper. You know, she gives very that with all the, ain't nobody that happy all the damn time. But I get it. When you're on TV and you got to be on, that's what you give. Or that's what you got to give. So, Sherri Shepherd's cute or whatever. The theme song is cute. The set looks amazing. I actually live for the colors and everything regarding of the show. That's great. However, the overall show is boring. I don't care about the whole stand-up routine that Sherri does. It's kind of boring. I don't get it. You know, she'll make a little chuckle. I'll have a little chuckle every now and again. A little chuckle-lisa. But for the most part, Sherri is not giving me what needs to be given. And I feel like there's this ongoing issue that I have with daytime TV. Daytime TV is just not giving. It's boring. Y'all don't want to take risks. Y'all don't want to give people who are far more entertaining opportunities. Y'all want to play it safe because y'all want to keep, you know, y'all want to keep that easy coin coming in. Y'all want somebody who could just dance for their supper. Jennifer Hudson, I have seen clips of her show. It's cute. You know, I like when she jumps in and sings. She sang with Sheryl Lee Ralph, and she seems very much engaged. She seems very authentic. She seems very open. I do like the fact that she sits really close with her guests. Like she leans in and she's really engaging with them and listening. And one of the things people need to realize when it comes to talk shows, the main thing is to listen to when people talk. So that's the main thing that people ask for. And so it's cute that, you know, with that show, but for the most part, I don't care about a lot of the guests that she has. I feel like with the Sherri Shepherd show, they're still trying to figure out what Sherri Shepherd's show is or who is Sherri Shepherd. And I feel like Sherri is not agreeing with certain things that's going on with the show, and she doesn't want to speak up because she doesn't want to rock the boat. This is her first show, but honey, you only get one chance at this. So the gag on this situation, they're saying that there seems to be trouble behind the scenes. Now, Cinema Blend is reporting that The former co-host of The View was one of the many to step in last year. The guest host, Wendy Williams, found herself to be set with health problems to host her beloved eponymous daytime talker, and soon became a favorite. So we already know, because of what happened with Wendy Williams, Sherri was the only one that tracked ratings wise when she came in on the show. The problem was people didn't like what Debra Mercury, how they were moving with this whole situation. But at the same time, one could argue that they did what they had to do to be able to keep the lights on, to keep people with their jobs, and to keep things of the ship afloat, while Wendy was off dealing with her personal demons and not showing up to work. And that's usually what happens when you don't show up to work. You lose your job. Like, people, like, this is no different than a regular job. Yeah, you're in front of cameras, you got hundreds of people that you're employing, but at the same time, you have to realize this is a job and these people have to work. And you not showing up to work, that affects their check. So Sherri Shepherd came in. People like that energy that she brought, but it feels like they're feeling like what they're trying to do is remove themselves from that Wendy Williams formula to let Sherri figure out her and do her own thing, which is great. But I feel like people want Sherri to talk about hot topics of celebrity news and gossip. She's trying to remove herself from that. I heard some stuff where they were talking about that Wendy's ex-husband Kelvin doesn't want them using hot topics and shoe cam, which is fine. Wendy had the shoe cam thing. Hot Topics is not a Wendy Williams ownership. First of all, she stole Hot Topics from The View. If you want to be real about some shit, Wendy Williams stole Hot Topics from The View and basically just made it her own thing. And that's what basically everybody does. People take what has been used before and, sit down, flip it, remix it, turn it into their own thing. And Sherri could have did that. Sherri could have took the same formula of what worked with Wendy and kind of turn it into her own show, or turn it into her own format. I don't think people would have hated on her for it. Maybe they would, but it's like, guess what? I have a show. I'm doing my own thing, and it is what it is. So I think now that because of how Debra Mercury moved on the situation, now they want to punish Sherri for it. So they're basically saying that if you're wondering why supervisor producer Norman Baker and Suzanne were simply referred to, by their first names, it's because fans of the former show knew the two well. For much of the time, Wendy was on the air as long as Baker and Bass were present for a taping. Both were seen on camera during episodes, with them usually interacting with Wendy during the Hot Topics segment or during, the opening moments. However, when Sherri debuted, neither producer was seen on the series, which left fans missing them and has possibly led to those staffers, especially, not feeling very secure in their positions with the new show. And so it does feel a little weird that why would you have me on this show if you're not going to utilize me? Now I have to sit and worry every day, is today going to be my last day? I said, you can work them out and figure out what they need to do. I don't get why John Murray, Miss Honey Ass, is being incorporated into the show, because I don't get what she's there to do. Are you supposed to be the Norman? You don't give me Norman personality. Like, Norman, there was something about him that he just worked with what he and Wendy did. And he seems like somebody who, yes, as a producer, he's got that personality that could be interjected in the show. But I guess, like I said before, they're trying to distance themselves from, what Wendy did and what worked for Wendy. But what's going to work for Sherri? Because you only got one shot at this. I don't know if you're going to be able to fix what needs to be fixed within 6 weeks and get people. Look, I heard she's doing well in Atlanta. I don't know what the numbers are in New York, if the New York people will feature her, but I know I've watched some other shows and people talk about her show is cute or she's not that interesting and she's a little too jolly. But look, I gave it 4 episodes. I did the first week. I haven't watched the show since. I'm actually looking forward to Jennifer Hudson's Michaela J interview. That's the one I'm actually looking for. So yeah, good luck, Sherri. If you have somebody on the show that piques my interest, maybe I'll tune in again. You know, her studio is is right behind where's the studio again? Oh, her studio is right behind it's not right behind, right around the corner from my gym. I keep telling y'all that all the time. Speaking of which, y'all know Wendy Williams is in rehab. I did want to bring that up really quick, that because we haven't talked about it, and I was gonna be like, yay, finally an episode we don't sit and talk about her. But apparently, yes, they're talking about that she's suffering from a rare severe mental disorder characterized by striking motor behavior, typically involving either significant reductions in voluntary movement or hyperactivity and agitation, which is called catatonic schizophrenia. I don't necessarily know if it's true. That was a rumor that was around. Age 6, they said that she was at death's door for 2 blood transfusions 2 years ago due to her worsening alcohol addiction. Multiple sources told Page 6, and this was from DJ Booth was talking about that when she was going through her situation, that he basically tried to get her help. You know, that was around the time when she was in the apartment and she was dealing with her cootie cat and doing other stuff, and had the girls gagging and shook it and a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, Wendy was a mess, apparently, for a while now. And I really do feel like it was all, it may have been a lot of factors, but I do feel like Kelvin's abuse finally hit its last straw with her, especially when he knocked up Sherri. That's why I had to laugh the other day when I was watching his, like I saw videos of his live. And he was talking about how, oh, he stopped smoking weed and he's a better person now, and how he was having to fight to get things done in the industry. Child, you was a bully, passive aggressive and manipulative. And I can't believe this ninja is a Virgo. We don't claim all Virgos, by the way. Like, I can't claim Keanu Reeves and Salma Hayek because they on my birthday. I claimed Beyonce. When I found out John Bernthal fine ass was a Virgo, I gagged. Idris Elba, we claim him. I claim my girl Jennifer Hudson. But we don't claim Kelvin Hunter. She could stay out there where the buses don't run. We don't claim all Virgos. I told y'all that. But anyway, get well, Wendy. I hope she's getting the help that she needs where she is. And yeah, good luck to you, girl. I mean, if you want to read the rest of the article, you can definitely head over to KrisAvalon.com, because I go into detail about her substance abuse issues, how it went on from, she went from drinking wine to straight up vodka. Oh damn. So yeah, there's a lot that was going on with Wendy. And you know, further explains it, like the DJ Booth revelation, which we was talking about 2 years ago when we was talking about it on the show. Like, we've been talking about Wendy for, I can't believe it, 2 years straight. Feels like shorter than that, but yeah, that's what that is. So good luck, Wendy girl. Okay, so let's get into this story, child, because this is some tea. Now, former television meteorologist by the name of Eric Adame gave out his home address, cell phone number, and other personal details about his life and work to hundreds of viewers during an hour-long sexual encounter that was live-streamed on the internet, and this what happened last year. Now, the broadcast calls into question claims made by former Spectrum News New York One meteorologist Eric Adame that he was the victim of a so-called revenge porn plot in which an unknown person sent a recording and still images on his online sex broadcast to the work colleagues and superiors at the television station. Now, when I saw that Variety did the story, I was on Twitter, and this is why I'm more active on Twitter than a lot of other places. I'm also more active on Facebook. Instagram, fuck y'all with y'all algorithms. Y'all be doing too much. I have to post things in stories to give people's attention, because I barely get a lot of likes on my regular stories on Instagram, which is why I barely post on there, because I just feel like it's a bunch of BS. But anyway, so I went on Twitter and I responded to the story, because someone had said something or another, and this is where it alludes to what I'm going to talk about with the filling out the more of the context of the story. So when I went on Twitter, someone had posted something that said that he had written Eric slut Adame NY1 on his chest and was about how he wanted his boss to catch him in the act and basically hunch him on camera or something or another. I was like, I don't believe it. Where's this evidence of all this other stuff? I need to be able to see all of this to know if this is some real tea. So the way he worded it, I was just like, this don't make sense. You're the only one coming out saying this. I don't believe it. A friend of mine basically commented on one of my posts and reiterated the same thing this person said. And he don't even know about the whole thing with Twitter and all this stuff. He basically said that because I posted something about it on my page, he saw it a couple of days later and literally said the same thing. So then I was like, okay, there has to be something to this. So I was like, if you have anything, I know Eric is trying to keep things on the hush, but girl, you did this shit on Chatterbait. That was the first thing. I was like, where was he broadcasting himself? In the back of my mind, I did think Chatterbait. But that's a notorious website that a lot of people go on to do like the whole Pleasure Principle choreography. Trying to be clean on the YouTube, which I know when I say Pleasure Principle, what that means. For tokens, some people do it for the sake of exhibition. I'll admit I dropped my water. We back though. I'll admit I've been on Chatterbait as a viewer and a participant, but that was back in my backsliding days. I still backslide, but I backslide in other ways. Anyway, so I don't hide nothing on this shit because y'all not going to hold this shit against me down the road. I comes out with my own stuff and I say what I need to say out here for y'all to hear it. So anyway, so I know he went on this other website that I'm going to bring up and had them pull down the photos because people were literally sharing the stream and all this other stuff. However, there's this website called thedesk.net that the guy on Twitter sent a link to me. And I had a friend send me a screenshot. I'm not going to reveal who it is, but he sent me a screenshot of Eric Adame naked with the thing written on his chest. So I was like, oh, girl. So it is true. I'm going to break it all down. So on Wednesday, the desk obtained a copy of the broadcast that was streamed over the adult website Chatterbait 3 days after Christmas. Now, during the broadcast, Adame gives out his personal cell number and his home address, encouraging anyone who may be watching locally to come by his house for an early morning sexual encounter. At one point, a viewer used the chat feature to post Adame's full legal name, the same name he used on air at Spectrum New York 1. Adame acknowledges the comment, and the broadcast continues for another 40 minutes. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure my first name, last name, address has all effing been out there, and this PUSSY still hasn't been effed. This is what Adame says. I have the audio. I sent the audio to production. I'm wondering if we're going to play it on here, but then at the same time, I don't want any legal shit coming up in my box. So I'm a little, on the defense, especially when you got Howard Bragman, who is, and I've actually met him before. I believe, now I think about it, I did meet Howard Bragman way back. Child, this is all I'm about to tell my age. So back when I was in high school, back in the day, child, I'm about to tell my age. I went on Geraldo with my teacher, who was an actress by the name, y'all know her, she's an actress, her name is Copper Cunningham. That's also how I met Lawrence Fishburne. There was a whole situation where he was back in the day, he did Riff Raff with Heavy D, may he rest in peace, and we went out to dinner and with him, and he was lovely. He got into it with one of my classmates because she called him Ike Turner. He was like, oh no, my name is Lawrence, honey. I had to tell her, she ain't like that. Ike Turner was a wife beater and a cokehead. He was playing one on TV. But anyway, so yeah, we went on Geraldo, and I believe Howard Bragman was there backstage when they were doing the gossip segment because my teacher was really good friends with gossip columnist Flo Anthony, who actually I was supposed to interview as a way to audition to do my very first teenage talk show for Nickelodeon. Yeah, there was a whole thing that was going to be in the works of me recording a Nickelodeon TV show. I'm telling all my tea. I watched one episode. It's too bright and very much begin to respect. Wait, what was that? That we talking about? Are we talking about Dahmer? But anyway, so with Erica Dahmer, when I saw Child, I heard the audio and I was, Lord forgive me, I was listening to it in an earpiece at work while I was doing my work, my desk duty work, clutching my pearls over the stuff he was saying. But I live for it. And here's the thing. Oh, you're talking about Sherri. Well, yeah, that background is a little bright. But here's the thing. To wrap all this up, he did apologize. He sent a lengthy statement via Instagram because when I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute. And here's the thing. I have watched New York 1. I have Spectrum because that's the only thing they allow in my neighborhood in Harlem. If it was up to me, I would not be using Spectrum, but that's all that's provided living in the neighborhood I live in, which is Harlem, as I said before. I have seen Erica Dahmer on TV, and the time I saw the summer, I said, "Oh, who is that?" First of all, let's get out of the way. He's hot. He's definitely the types that I have hunched many a times living in New York. I've slept with many an Erica Dahmer type. I'll say that. And proud of it. Eric is apparently an exhibitionist. He's someone that gets off on this idea of being seen and being caught. Now, him going on Chatterbait should not reflect what he does in his professional life. If you are a news guy and you're doing something, first of all, New York, it ain't like New York 1 is Good Morning America or CNN or MSNBC. No shade but shade. Let's just be clear with that. If he has things to do with he has an exhibition fetish, he should not be vilified for that. Let's get that out of the way. So the fact that someone went out of their way to screen record him on a website that you're not even supposed to screen record someone from. Yes, he's on a public, but he's on a public forum. I'm sure there is something written in the fine lines of Chatterbait, and I don't remember because it's off the top of my head. But I'm sure somewhere in the written contract or whatever, it says that y'all cannot be screen recording people's sessions and trying to profit from it or showing it or sending it to someone's job or whatever the case is. Because then everybody be unemployed. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that, and I know there are regular people that work regular jobs that do videos and get on Chatterbait showing their face, doing all that shit. So whatever I do outside of my job, this should not reflect the job and should not be brought into this whole situation. So I do feel like this is a shakedown because New York 1 probably prides itself on being this conservative network. And we know, quiet as it's kept, there's a lot of homophobes that work within this world. And unfortunately, I do believe he's being targeted. And I do believe he's probably going to win this case because, okay, now I know people say, but what about him coming at his boss and saying that, oh, wouldn't it be hot if my boss caught me doing this, or I want my boss to F me in this and the third? He didn't say the boss's name. He didn't give out the boss's address. So I'm sure there's a loophole in there somewhere. I don't know. But for people to kind of vilify this guy because he's got a fetish, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are into things that are not straight up vanilla sex, especially when you're in the gay community. We into some freaky shit. Straight people too. Let's not try to act like these straight people aren't, don't have their little kinks and things. But I do feel like he shouldn't be vilified for what he does outside of what he does at work. And he says, I acted out of my compulsive behaviors while at home by performing on camera for other men. It was 100% consensual on both our parts. I wasn't paid for this, and it was absurd of me to think I could keep this private. And the thing with Chatterbait is they're big on having to put in your ID, all that information, and you have to get permission to be broadcast yourself, as well as if you were to bring another person into the video. They pretty much protect themselves over there. So yeah, whoever sent the recordings and still images of the video to his job and send it to his mother, to me that's fucked up. And the person who did this, I know they're trying to obtain the information so that way they can find out who leaked it, because the person who did this, that's a grounds for this, like that's illegal. That's basically oh my god, what is the term? Revenge porn. That's labeled under revenge porn. And you know, we are real big on the whole revenge porn thing in New York. So, and I know he lives in Jersey City, but technically he works in New York. And I think New York one is very much New York. It's kind of like the tri-state area. So I think it does go into New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, that whole thing. Because we do kind of interlink with those situations. So yeah, so I know it was LPSG, which is called the Large Penis Support Group. I don't make the news, I just report it. That's what it's called. Which a friend of mine put me on. I'm not gonna tell you who, because I ain't gonna tell you. But they said that you could find anybody's nudes. You can find anybody's nudes on LPSG, Large Penis Support Group. I've been on there and I'll type in the name and yes, they dick pics come up. Your favorite Instagram personalities and this, that, and the other. A lot of y'all nudes is on there, child. But I do agree. This is gonna be a big revenge porn case, and I do feel like, you know, with Eric Adame, people, and I've seen some of the stories where there have been people who've been slut shaming him. And you know, I'm an advocate for my free spirits and my sexual freaks and the people who like to live openly and freely. And the one thing I did like that he said, where is it? Oh yeah, he did say, I think it'd be hot if my boss saw me, and I would love my boss to F me on camera. That part. I was trying to look for the other part. Oh, I was like, oh, I read that. Yeah, I can't find the other thing because there was something he said that I was like, why are you apologizing in that way? Like you were talking about, I think it was something or another that he said he was going to be seeking help for, well, he says, I do feel that I'm a victim, because he went on MSNBC on Tuesday, and I'm mad that I missed that interview because I didn't know he was on there. He said, I do feel like I'm a victim, whether or not that's going to be classified as revenge porn or not. Someone intentionally trying to hurt me and make me lose my career. That is obviously a point that where I'm a victim. But I think he did say that, and look, he's got a fantasy of being whored out by a bunch of dudes. And look, there's a lot of people I know that are into that. They like the fantasy of being whored out. They're friends of mine who love being a cum dump. Well, look, I ain't getting paid for this, so I can say it online. I have people who are into these kinky fantasies. And look, that is a thing that works for them. And if you like it, I love it. Who am I to judge? You get your little, you know, some transpire, you get your shot of penicillin in your asshole and move on. But you know what? I'm gonna keep an eye on this story and see how it develops, because this is definitely something we need to keep an eye on. And to me, it's like losing a career over this. I'll say this: if anything happens where you make a big settlement, I'll say this, Eric, if you're into it, I'm sure, like, launch the OnlyFans, the Just for Fans, or you start a career on Chatterbait making little coins and doing whatever. Like, if that's the new career you got to go into, then so be it. Sometimes the mainstream could be a piece of shit anyway. Fuck them hoes. But you know what? I'm here. So I'm you know, as in, not like you gonna call me and lean on you about some shit. But look, I'll be watching. And I'll be keeping an eye on this story as it develops, because you know, if this can happen here, it can happen anywhere. And look, this is similar because I was like, you know, I was also thinking about, because it's like there's too many slut shaming stuff going on. Like I heard about this girl that was fired from her job because she has an OnlyFans, and they were talking about she was a distraction. Her coworkers were watching her videos, and she's being punished for it. Why aren't they being punished for watching it? What I do, like I said, what I do outside of my job is my business. It has nothing to do with the corporation. But the one thing I was thinking about also was that, is it an at-will? Do we have that, does the at-will law apply to this case? Where they pretty much can fire you for any given reason, no questions asked. As we have that in New York. I don't know why. I guess that's why we have such a high turnover with a lot of jobs, particularly in the retail and the restaurant industry. And then you have the other thing about, and I want to wrap this up because I was like, yes, this is what I wanted to bring up, but I forgot. So now I'm bringing it up now. I'm gonna just get it out. And then on top of that, it's like, is there a morality clause in his contract? So these are all factors, I guess, they have to look into when they bring this case to the courts. Like I said, I'll be keeping my eye on it. So Tiffany Haddish is in the clear, as well as Aries Spears, because before a couple of weeks ago, they were accused of sexually harassing a girl and her brother as kids, has filed a dismissed lawsuit, according to documents from the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California obtained by the Washington Post. Now, the anonymous plaintiff, Jane Doe, who filed the lawsuit on August 30th on behalf of her and her brother, John Doe, who are still a minor, requested Tuesday to dismiss the claim with prejudice, which means the case cannot be refiled. Now, in a statement to TMZ the same day, Jane, 22, says that her family had known Tiffany Haddish for many years, and we know that she would never harm me or my brother or help anyone else do anything that could harm us. We wish Tiffany the best and are glad that we can all put this behind us. She did not mention Spears. Now, on Wednesday, TMZ photographer ran into Tiffany Haddish at LAX and said that she was relieved by the dismissal, but she also said that her biggest concern throughout the process was the kids making sure that they're okay. She also said that her future is pretty much, I guess she implied that her career is pretty much done. She lost everything. She says, I have no job. Now, the question remains, do I believe it? I honestly think Tiffany's going to be okay. Now, me personally, I'm not a fan of Tiffany Haddish. I don't think the bitch is funny. She always is on 10. She's annoying. And like I said, I don't think she's funny. I believe she lucked out with Girls Trip. Like, anybody, in my opinion, could have did that part. You could sell anybody in that part and would have been able to sell the Tiffany Haddish part. You could sell any comedian in that role, in my opinion. And I do feel like since then, they always want that version, ghetto, ratchet, a Sambo, tap dancing, from a supper type figure. Just very coonish behavior. That's what Tiffany has always given me. She gives me coonery and buffoonery with a lot of what she does. And if y'all like it, I love it. But I'm tired of the whole Negroes doing Sambo dances for a damn check. We should be beyond that in 2022. But if y'all like it, that's okay. In my opinion, I don't. Aries Spears to me always looked like the little shit emoji that he accused Lizzo of being. It's funny how when they always say you point one finger at you, the other four is pointing at yourself. That's what I get with Aries Spears. He literally does look like the shit emoji. You are how you feel. You are in the shape of which you feel you are. And he literally looks like, a big bowl of shit in the street from a dog. Or a human, because some of you people are nasty. The other day I was coming out of the subway and it was all shit on the damn stairwell. Human. Ain't no way in hell a dog did that. I think because I got so many Methodists, and if you know what I mean by Methodists, hanging out in the neighborhood, these damn drug addicts, they go to the bathroom wherever they can. I could never work for the MTA having to clean up behind them nasty ass homeless people. But anyway, so to me, it's like she feels like she says, I lost everything. This show was not supposed to go over 2 hours, but I just, or be this long, but this is my fault. We're going to work on shortening it next week. But it's just like, I'm just trying to get all this stuff out. But anyway, so focus. Do I think her career is over? I don't. I do feel like she could bounce back from this. I don't think that, there'll always be somebody that'll give her a job. Hollywood has hired, has given opportunities to worse people. And a lot of them still working. Mel Gibson was put out of commission for a while. Now he's about to be in a new John Wick TV series. So he's still getting work. Like I said, there have been people who have done worse things than Tiffany Haddish. And to me, in my opinion, she didn't molest these children. She participated in some unfunny ass Funny or Die skit about sexual abuse. Now, all the little things that y'all put up in there, it was weird, it was nasty, it was disgusting, it's ridiculous, it's uncalled for. I don't know why y'all would have incorporated that in there and think that it was cute, and it's not. Ooh, let me pull that. See my shirt, trade of the season. Shout out to Drag Race. I got this from Hunties. My shirts finally came in today, so I was like, ooh, let me throw this on. Show y'all. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm sure she'll continue to have a career. Aries, in my opinion, I don't feel has much to lose because his career was kind of on a downward spiral to begin with. I'm sure he was doing stand-up, whatever the case was, but his moment was back when he did Mad TV. Hasn't nobody really been checking for Aries since then. So what does he have to lose out of all of this? I guess people still support him. I couldn't tell you one damn joke from him quiet as his cat. So good luck to you, Tiffany. The other thing I didn't like either is that, we got bloggers out here fighting and shit. I'll probably bring that up later because, when I talk about Tasha K. But I think this situation with Tiffany Haddish is one of the reasons why Jason Lee and Armand Wiggins is beefing. I've been seeing that going around. I've been watching, I've seen the clip on YouTube. I do watch Armand's show at times, and I use when I wrote about the Nosy Ho article today about Nicki Minaj and how she apologized, I had to reference one of the episodes that he did because he actually sat down and spoke with Nosy Ho's the blogger, that's her name, with Nosy Ho's attorney on his show, and basically said that don't be surprised by the end of the week, and I believe this is on Sunday he did the interview. He said, don't be surprised by the end of the week, you will hear an apology from Nosy about what she said about Nicki's son. And yesterday, I believe, the apology came. So there you have it. So on this note, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up this show because we got 4 more topics to talk about. We got to talk about Charlamagne and his interview with Ray J on how Ray J was somebody he's planning on filing legal action against the Kardashians over this whole sex tape scandal. And then before we went live on the show, Ray J and Charlamagne was going at it. And he just did an episode. He just did an episode of the show. Now they fighting. So I got that. I'm going to talk about that. We got to talk about Kanye clown ass West. Talking about he ain't never read a damn book. I call bullshit. We also got to talk about Lisa Rinna trying to talk about she want to make more money than Candy Burris. But the gag is, even if she was to get her ass, Candy still make more money than her. And we gotta bring to you this whole thing about Cardi, as literally we got to call Cardi B Sally Mae, because Miss Mamas is coming for Tasha K's coins. She's coming to collect like she the IRS. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back with these final 4 topics. And yeah, so come on back now, y'all, for more of the rundown.
why y'all in New York act like y'all so hard to get? Like, wait, look at Charlie right here, look.
Hey, yo, Ma, where you from? Hey, yo, Ma. Ma.
What we're not gonna do is come for my talent because I ain't never came for her talent. All I ever said was drag queens don't make that much money, and they don't. That's why she all on camera picking up $10. That's $10, sir. That ain't no money. You can't even pay your phone bill with that money you picking up at the club.
I said you did a good job. So
you
what's the
didn't laugh
problem?
at my jokes.
I said you did a good job. I said you did a good job, and I said you just seemed nervous. What's the problem?
Yes, you did, and you ate for free and drank for free. What are you talking
so what's
about?
the problem? What's the problem?
What is the problem? I'm not funny.
I didn't say you wasn't.
Yes, the fuck you did.
Girl, I didn't start. That's between me and William the baddest. I don't have no beef with you the baddest like I keep on saying. You keep on trying to start shit. You keep on trying to start shit with people, and you just sit your ass down somewhere. Ain't nobody ever had beef with you until this motherfucking season started, and you started firing off at every motherfucking body. You need to calm your bitch ass down. I don't know if you making so much money, you need to take your ass back to work since you're making so much damn money.
I make the money. I don't have to go to work. What time you gotta clock in tonight?
Hey y'all, we are back. Oh, shout out to Honey Balenciaga, bitch. That girl always turns it out. You know, she's like one of my favorite Voguers. You know, there's a lot of them, but Henny is, you know, she's always giving. And the girls over at Chasing LA, bitch, y'all be giving more gags than the Zeus Network. Over here just fighting. The girls are fighting. It's a lot of girls fighting these days. We got, you know, Jason Lee and Armand Wiggins, the blogger girls is fighting. I'm gonna just stay over here and mind my own business. I'm gonna give my opinion on it though. Then we got what else? Charlamagne and Ray J fighting. Which hold on, I'm trying to pull this up now so we could talk about this. Cause girl, it's a mess. Anyway, so yeah, welcome back, y'all. So it's literally, in my opinion, been one hell of a week for Charlamagne the God and Ray J. Now, the media personality is claiming that producers heavily edited out a lot of his conversation with the I Hit It First singer, where they discussed allegations that he was in cahoots with Kim and Pimp Mama Kris pertaining to the infamous sex tape that launched Kim to superstardom. Now, Charlamagne says they chopped up his interview because he believes execs are afraid of Pimp Mama Kris, as I call her, and her chokehold over the mainstream media, saying, we aired what we could. We're going to have to bring Ray J on The Breakfast Club, or I'll have to have him on Brilliant Idiots, or sit down with him one-on-one to have a real conversation, because this, the way the Kardashians got TV executives shook, the way they have networks shook, is things Ray J said that like he wouldn't even let us air. They're scared of the wrath of the Kardashians. He also added, TV executives don't want no problems with the Kardashian gender mafia. Now, we don't have clips of the episode, do we? Because if we don't, what I could say is, like, if y'all want the whole context of what was said, y'all can literally go over to KrisAvalon.com. This is why you see I'm promoting a lot, you know, shameless self-promotion, promoting the website. That's where a lot of the articles and things are. So yeah, you can pretty much go there and get all the full tea. But I can give you pretty much like the cliff notes. So he says, because Ray J says he still gets residuals from the sex tape, in case y'all was wondering, and that it does make sense that on paper it looks like he was in cahoots regarding how the sex tape came into fruition. However, he says that it's different when Mama Kris Jenner is making him out to be the villain while making her daughter out to be the victim. Saying, I just want to clear my name, man. Even if that little small thing in there that gotta go, I'm fighting for my kids to know that they daddy is a great person who respects everybody. Now, regarding claims that he was the one who leaked the sex tape, he says, put it like this. If what they saying I did is true, then why didn't you never sue me? I've never been sued. I've never had a complaint. That's just facts, right? And there's so many more things. It's just now I'm going to yell it out. Now I'm going to directly to the source. He also added there's going to be some legal stuff happening. I just think about it like this. Without me, he is just going through all the facts. I said what I said. I said what I said. It's crickets over there. No response, nothing. How long has it been? Like 2 weeks silence, nothing. He also said Kanye hasn't responded either because, Kanye always got some shit to say and hasn't said anything. Now, my opinion on this is this. Because Charlamagne pointed this out also. And I've been saying this for the longest. So he and Kanye didn't know who they fucked with from the beginning when it came to the Kardashians. It's like y'all dip y'all dicks in these white girls' vaginas. And then y'all surprised when, they want to kind of weaponize their womanness and their whiteness and throw it back on y'all. Y'all are always going to be the villains in their eyes when they done with you. And the Kardashians are notorious for using black men for whatever they need to get from them and then use and victimize themselves when need be. I don't feel bad for Clozilla and what's going on with her and Tristan and the word on the street is because, it's funny how coincidentally Ray J and all of this is popping up, and then the Kardashians season 2 premiered a couple of days ago. I don't know when. I don't watch the show. All I know is whenever I go on Hulu, that fucking advertisement's up there, and it's put in my face. Oh yeah, and I've always said this too. I agree. Chelsea Handler talk suit were actually fired at E because Chelsea was always throwing shade at the Kardashians. That's why I used to love the show, because she did that. The E people over there, Condé Nast, all them people were up under the thumb of the Kardashians. They did whatever Pimp Mama Kris wanted. And she didn't like how Joe McHale was always quick to refer to Kim as Kim Kardashian, that girl with the sex tape. That's how he always introduced her. I used to always love when he guest appeared on RuPaul's Drag Race, the current season that I'm watching. I think it's season 11. And he annoyed the shit out of Michelle Visage. That episode always makes me laugh. But anyway, so yeah, he said that they edited out. He wants to bring him on the Breakfast Club, which I actually hope he does. But I don't know if it's going to happen now because Charlamagne decided, and shout out to the Jasmine brand for screenshotting this, because that's where I got it from, saying Charlamagne doesn't believe the hype. Do you think @RayJ is a part of the marketing rollout for the second season of #The Kardashians? And Ray J responded by saying, you hella corny, bro, for this. I'm really fighting for my kids to know the real truth about their dad because it's the #1 most important thing to me as a father and a black man for my family's name. It's crazy because talked over the phone, and I guess he's saying they talked over the phone, and what's on my only agenda was and is I would have never did your show if I knew you would do some sucker-ish like this. The headliner for this post is thirsty and clickbait at the highest level. Lame ASF, you hella lame. SMH, you almost worse than they are with this stupid. Okay, it's hard to read this because the Jasmine brand got the goddamn code, they have their logo over the words, so I'm like trying to squint and read it on my damn eyes. Bear with me. You hella lame SM and they are with this stupid ass question. I don't care what nobody say about me defending myself. I look at my daughter and son and what their future looks like, and I promise you when I'm done, it won't be this false narrative. FUCK interviews from now on. Can't trust nobody. Mistake made, but lesson learned. In caps, because apparently he's Kanye now. All I care about is my kids knowing the truth. My kids, a bunch of damn exclamation points. My kids, again, a bunch of exclamation points. They are 4 and 2 years old. I don't have a lot of time before they can understand it, but I won't give up until my mission is done. Even if I died or somebody killed me tomorrow. God's plans put in place can't be stopped. Charlamagne, donkey of the decade. And then, so I do think it was kind of corny that Charlamagne did that. It's like, you could have worded it a whole lot different. You could have just asked, do you think that this is a marketing ploy, or do you believe that the girls are trying to shake down? Right? Like, you could have worded it in some sort of way to kind of get a real valid conversation. Charlamagne always prides himself on trying to be the guy who is more diplomatic and a lot mature in a lot of ways, but now it's like you trying to be windy, you trying to be messy after you got the interview. And now I'm like, I don't know if he would want to do the interview or a follow-up interview, but maybe y'all can make it work out, because guys don't really hold grudges like gay men and women do. Heterosexual men don't really do that. But anyway, so shortly after, Ray J took to Instagram again to apologize, saying, earlier today I saw a headline on @See the Show and made me very upset, wrote the 41-year-old, because I'm very serious about my truth. This is my life and my kids I'm representing. He says, but the way I reacted was wrong. I should have not used those negative words and called C to God. That's not the way I want to resolve an issue with somebody I respect. I have a lot on my back and my mind right now, and it's taking its toll on me. I want to apologize to you. Nobody told me to do this. I haven't picked up my phone because I feel it's becoming toxic. This is from the heart. I'm sorry for the way I reacted. It was very unprofessional. Peace and love, King @C to God. Take a look above. So hopefully they can work this out and they can make bygones be bygones and settle this like men and go and do a follow-up interview, because I really believe Ray J. I feel like, in some ways I don't feel bad for him, because in my opinion, I don't feel bad for him, but I kind of feel bad for him, if that makes sense. Because to me, I think what this whole thing was, he was young. He hooked up with Kim at a time, because you know what? I do believe that he was looking for a way to kind of separate himself from the whole Brandy's little brother, her having that wholesome, all-American, as far as you could be for a black girl, that wholesome image. And Ray J really wasn't getting a lot of traction. He was kind of like no. And sometimes when it comes to these young people trying to navigate themselves and work in the industry, and they're trying to make a name for themselves, they're trying to transition out of the whole child star into adulthood. And we always see what they usually do. The Miley Cyruses and the Britneys and the Christinas, they go the dirty route. They go the slave view route. They go a little more sexual. Look, I'm grown. Not a child anymore. Show you my titties. Yeah. This is stuff that they do. They try to say, oh yeah, I'm grown, instead of just maturing into the shit. I gotta show you my cootie cat pose on Playboy to get y'all attention. Ray J did it with a sex tape. Now, I do believe that y'all did this whole usherization situation where y'all wanted to kind of move into. I know EJ is a fan of Brandy, but he said leave Brandy alone. Anyway, we have this thing where you try to usher your way, So I think that's what he used the sex tape for, and I do believe there was a mutual agreement that they had at the time. But Kim now being like, oh, I'm 41 years old, and I'm mature and I've changed. That sex tape is, I always tell people, whatever decision you make, you need to just unapologetically stand by it, because it's gonna follow you around for the rest of your life. You can either take the Madonna approach, when they took her nudes, her artistic nudes, and they posted it in Hustler, and she was like, yeah, it is what it is. I did what I did, and what? You either take that approach, or you try to bring the shame around it, which makes you look more guilty, and it's going to be fuel for those same people to continue to use it against you forever and ever. Just be like, yeah, the sex tape is what it is, and it happened, and that's that. She's going to have to explain it to all 4 of her damn kids, just like Ray J is going to have to explain it to 2 of his. It is what it is. It's out there. What can you do? These children are going to know about the sex tape. So good luck to you. I'm going to see how this whole thing turns out with the whole legality thing. I do think the Kardashians are vile and disgusting and tend to pimp out and use the black men when they need to. But I have to say this. Can no man be used unless he's willing to be used? So, Ray J, you're no innocent in this. You allowed yourself to be put in that situation. This is the outcome. That's all. Okay, so let's get into this foolishness with Kanye, because apparently reading isn't fundamental for this damn fool, because he's now talking about how he don't read books. So during an episode of the Mindful podcast that aired, I think yesterday or Friday, because now it's technically Sunday morning in New York. Shout out to my LA people still in the Saturday. The outspoken rapper told Aloe's Danny Harris and Allison Wilson that he's never read any literature and prefers speaking instead, saying, I actually haven't read a book. Reading is like eating Brussels sprouts for me, and talking is like getting the Giorgio Baldi corn ravioli. Ma'am, really? The hitmaker's confession comes after a Rolling Stone report states that parents are required to sign non-disclosure agreements to send their children to his tuition-based Christian private school, the school Donda Academy, which I should point out is not yet accredited. And this is according to Rolling Stone, by the way. Is named after his late mother, Donda West, who I should point out was a professor. Highly educated professor, by the way. This is what the fuck she birthed. This foolishness right here. Who's serving homeless chic and calling it fashion. To me, I feel like if you're going to open a school and this is the narrative you're going to message. Like, number one, you got Keisha Cole Child going to a school amongst, I'm sure, other famous people. What are they actually learning? There, it says students at the academy, which takes place in Simi Valley, California, participate in full school worship, core classes of language arts, math, and science. What do you mean, like slavery was a choice? Is that what they learned too? Now, in addition to lunch, recess, and enrichment sources such as visual art, film, choir, and parkour. Joe, didn't parkour kind of go out of style after Madonna used it in her jump video? Like, that was kind of like on his tail end. Like, I feel like parkour went out of style. Shout out to the French. But I could have sworn that parkour kind of went out of style in like 2009. Or like in the 2010s. Like, nobody's really doing that anymore. I mean, yeah, we see it a couple of times when they have to do like running and hopping from buildings in action movies. Like, we still see that. But you really got people learning parkour in your school. Like, this is some... How does motherfucker get, what do you do? Get a PPP loan? Like, how does this work? I really feel like after this, the article that Rolling Stone, I don't read Rolling Stone. First of all, Rolling Stone lost their respect for me eons ago, but you definitely lost it when y'all was out here claiming how Harry damn Styles, of all people, is the king of pop. They really fixed their mouths to write that shit on a cover of a magazine. Talking about attaching your face to someone's ass like the human centipede. Y'all clearly was doing that when you came up with that motto, because I don't know how we equating Harry Styles, who was on his third album, by the way. Why does this kept? A lot of people I spoke to didn't even notice that his current album was his third. So how you the king of pop when most people didn't even know that unless you're a hardcore Harry Styles fan? And I don't think that Harry Styles has that same impact as a Michael Jackson, where that motherfucker stands still on stage and got people passing out. Only one I know that does that is Beyonce. I don't know no other artist that does that. Robert says, not gonna lie, he has never accepted or healed from his mother's death. Gives me Joanne vibes. You know what I mean. The infamous aunt that Gaga never met, as she was dead way before Gaga was born. Well, I do agree with that, because I've always said that I feel like it reminds me of a friend of mine, like when someone who was very much close to died, his soul jumped in that coffin with her. And I do feel like that is the same thing with Kanye. I do not feel like Kanye has truly healed from dealing with the issues of his mother. This is the mental issues that he's going with. I don't know how he, of all people, is able to build a school and get people foolish enough to spend money to have their kids going. Like, do y'all care about y'all kids' education? It just reminds me, it makes so much sense on why kids now, like the education system, why we at the bottom of the damn totem pole when it comes to education. Like, there are other countries that are wiping the floor with us according to, education. And I don't believe that Kanye doesn't read. He's full of shit. Number one, when you were coming up as a child, you had to read books. You had to be able to pass your tests and all the other shit and be able to go to college. When you were in college for the amount of time you was in there, because I believe it was a college dropout, hence the name of his sophomore album. Or was that the first album? Because it was College Dropout, Late Registration. I believe the debut album was called College Dropout. So if that is true that he did drop out of college, because I believe he went to 2 different colleges. One of his mother had to help him get in, quiet as it's kept. But if you're gonna be doing all of that, you had to read books in order to be able to get into those schools. You had to be able to read books in order to get into college. For you to sit up here and sell this story and this narrative and this lie, it is dangerous, it's ignorant, and it's a lie, and it's ridiculous, and it's stupid. But people eat this shit up because it's Kanye. Yeah, exactly. Like, you had to do book reports in school. You got to be able to read, like, to pass your SATs and shit. It's a book. You had to read that. What'd you do? Wing it? To start checking stuff? So I'm not buying this. He's full of shit. So let me move on because I'm tired of talking about this clown. So last week they wrapped up the Beverly Hills reunion. And it's supposed to air sometime next month. But apparently, and this is also around the time when a lot of the girls try to renegotiate their contracts. So there were rumors that were swirling that Lisa Rinna would be not returning to the show because she's been beyond problematic on social media, getting into fights. There were rumors that she was a part of the whole troll farm that may have had to do with Garcelle's son getting bullied and a bunch of other things. Lisa has been getting into a lot of beefs and fights behind the scenes. But the word on the street is she's trying to come, if she does come back for the next season, she wants $2 million for the season. I think for the season or an episode, which I believe is the same amount that Kathy Hilton was making for appearing in a couple of episodes of this season. But this is according to Radar Online. They're saying that Lisa is in fact coming back and is demanding that she become the highest grade housewife or else she's going to walk. Quote from a source, "At this point, Bravo needs Lisa more than Lisa needs Bravo. She was a star before Bravo and will be a star long after Bravo. Lisa knows her worth and knows how to negotiate. Only Lisa is willing to call her bluff and walk away if she doesn't get what the deal she wants. While the other ladies are frightened to upset Andy Cohen, Lisa is fearless, saying she is not frightened of him or anyone else." Now, insiders add that Rinna is demanding $2 million a season, which would make her the highest paid Real Housewife ever. Currently, the Atlanta ladies earn the most. Kandi Burruss reportedly is paid a little less than $2 million per season. But that ain't necessarily true, because according to the Jasmine brand, they're exclusively reporting that even if this is Lisa's alleged asking price, which, like I said before, was what Kathy Hilton allegedly made for appearing in a few episodes this current running season, she still wouldn't be making more than Kandi. A source said even with what she's allegedly negotiating, she still would not make as much as Kandi. Now, Lisa's been on the show since 2014, and I do believe that Kandi makes the type of money she makes because, because she produces a lot of other side projects along with doing The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I do believe that's why she makes more money. I don't know if she makes, more money specifically on just The Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I do feel like because of her other endeavors, she does make a lot more money. And to me, I do not believe that Lisa Rinna deserves $2 billion damn dollars. Oh, child, I've heard the stories about Harry Hamlin allegedly having a gay lover out in Canada. Allegedly. Lisa, in my opinion, girl, you are not well known outside of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yeah, you had a stint on Days of Our Lives where you played Billy Reed. I remember because I remember when I used to get babysat, my babysitter used to watch Days of Our Lives religiously, and Lisa Rinna was on there. I also remember that she was on Melrose Place. Melrose Place ain't been on TV in almost 20 years? So, girl, outside of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, what have you been doing? I do feel like this is some sort of jab towards Kathy Hilton. You're trying to take her down because she's the big name, and that's what these girls thrive themselves on. But to get my full rundown of the whole thing with Lisa Rinna, definitely head over to my website because we only got 5 minutes on this topic. We only got 5 minutes left on the show, I'm sorry. And I need to get to this final topic. So yeah, Lisa, I don't see you coming back or getting this thing. I do feel like they should make Garcelle's friend Sherri the new girl, but she ain't really bringing it. But maybe she will next season, because they always bring it the next season once they figure out like how it works. But she's not a stranger to reality TV, so she should be able to work this into her situation. So excuse me. Let's get to this tea. So the blogger who was Tasha K, let's just say it, who was ordered to pay Cardi B a total of $3.2 million in damages, has rushed the court to avoid the bank from her bank account for being garnished, basically. And this is according to Radar Online. Now, according to court documents obtained by Radar Online, Tasha K has filed documents in Georgia pleading for the judge to stop Cardi from being able to collect on the judgment. Hold on, because I gotta tell my Alexa, turn off my damn light in the house. I had to mute the thing for a second because my Alexa turned. Oh, let me shut up, because the minute you say her name, she starts to light up. This lady crazy. But anyway, so according to documents obtained by, like I said, Tasha has filed documents in Georgia pleading for the judge to stop Cardi being able to collect on her judgment until her appeal is heard. Didn't she lose the appeal? As we previously reported, back in January, a jury sided with Cardi in the Bodak Yellow rapper's lawsuit against the blogger. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Cardi sued Tasha over various posts she made on her YouTube channel and website. The rapper took issue with accusations that she made. She said that Cardi worked as an escort, used hard drugs, cheated on her husband Offset, and had an STD, which Cardi proved was not true, but Tasha was running around claiming that these were true. Now, Tasha has said that I wiped my ass with cease and desist, that she wasn't going to pay this girl. She even, I think there was something that had to do with the story regarding Nosy Ho and Nicki Minaj. And I think Cardi was kind of dragged into the comments and she said something. And then Tasha, I don't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me. But I do remember that Tasha was like, did somebody say my name? And Cardi basically said, nobody said your name, but run me my money. In so many words, I'm paraphrasing. So Tasha out here playing. She think Cardi is not going, Cardi is basically, we're going to change her name to Sally Mae because she want her coin. And my thing is this, when you go and lie on somebody's name, and I know people say, the funny thing I find out, look, if you lie on my name, pay the money that you owe. That's what you need to do. You out here making up lies about people. And she made up a lie recently about another person claiming he had HIV and all this other stuff. So Tasha out here being messy. She needs to do what needs to be done. You basically said that you ain't got it, but you talk all this other slick shit on the line. You need to pay this girl her money. You said all these things. You were trying to ruin her career. And I'm just like, if it's not true, and it makes it bad on us bloggers, because a lot of times we're out here trying to just do the job. We basically come on, we talk about the stories, and we give our opinion. And like with the whole thing with Nosy Ho, a lot of people trying to compare the Tasha situation to Nosy. That's a different story. Nosy, I believe the reason why Nicki is going after Nosy is because Nosy provided a platform for Jennifer Huff, who basically was like Nicki's husband assaulted her back in the day, and he was accused of being, he's labeled a sex offender. It's out there. He has to keep refiling every time they move around or whatever, and she's mad, I believe, at herself more than she should be mad at him. So you're lashing out at all these other people. It's not the same thing. But it's funny how the same people who was mad at Cardi for filing and trying to put respect on her name, y'all look at and tell her she need to man up. She need to grow some balls. She need to just suck it up and toughen up. Y'all are the same ones out here applauding Nicki for filing her little frivolous lawsuit which basically makes her come across as a bully because you're mad over Nosy giving a platform to a girl that is talking about your husband and his past, which is public record. And she's not the only one that did it. Because why didn't you sue Armand Wiggins? Why haven't you sued Jason Lee? Why haven't you sued The Real? When you was calling out Garcelle and Lonnie Love, Why aren't you suing them for this stuff? So it doesn't make sense to me why you would go in and let have on certain people, but you're going to have the Nosy because Nosy is like a up and coming blogger. She's not necessarily on the same level as an Armand Wiggins, a Jason Lee, and all these other people. Like a lot of these people who've been doing it for a minute and are really successful at what they're doing. Funnily enough, I've been blogging for almost 20 years, give or take. For as long as Perez Hilton's been doing it, because I've been more or less online doing stuff rather than the video stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna keep abreast of this story as it develops. I did bring down the whole Tasha K story. Well, not Tasha K. Well, yeah, I did break down the whole nosy hole Nicki Minaj thing and kind of gave my opinion on that. So y'all can definitely go over to the KrisAvalon.com to read the rest of that article. But on that note, I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching. Definitely click like, subscribe, leave your comments. Let me know what you guys think on some of these stories. We're still working on the kinks on this show because I was like, yeah, I was not planning on having this show go over 2 hours, but you know, sometimes shit happens. We're gonna work on shortening the show next week because I'm not trying to be on here doing like 2-3 hour shows. That's just a lot on my voice. So be on the lookout for next week's episode. And until next time, basically, yes, follow all of these at the bottom. And yeah, till next week. Love you all for watching. Ciao.